Hey Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into today's video. Let's jump into the breaking, and this is big, breaking Eagle news here on a Monday. Philadelphia has signed a quarterback. How about this? There were some rumblings that I was looking at. I was going to talk about the rumors of a quarterback being signed today until, boom, it's officially official. The Eagles have signed Nick Mullens to be added to the quarterback depth chart going into training camp in the 2021 season. So the report from about yesterday, ESPN's Adam Kaplan was on Inside the Birds podcast and mentioned that Philadelphia was looking for a West Coast-style quarterback. He mentioned Nick Mullens by name, so of course, hats off to Adam Kaplan for getting this one right. That was the report, and now it is official they signed Nick Mullens. Details as of filming this are not officially out on the contract. I would bet it's a one-year deal. I'm sure nothing special here in terms of the money. Mullens, of course, has been a backup quarterback with the San Francisco 49ers for the past couple of seasons. However, it is worth noting this is a much bigger, I think, step up from a usual third-string quarterback. Normally, your third-string quarterback is like what they had in Jamie Newman, like an undrafted free agent you have time to build. Mullens has a lot of actual starter experience over the past two seasons in San Francisco due to the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo has been very, up and down in terms of his health. Here is Mullens, his last 16 starts. I mean, listen, he's 16 starts in the National Football League, 64% completion percentage, 4,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, 22 picks, the picks are the problem, and a quarterback rating of 87.2. What's the whole point about this? Listen, Mullens is a quality backup quarterback. And so as you look at this, there are some people on Twitter wondering why Philadelphia would go ahead and add another quality backup when they already signed Joe Flacco. I have no problem with Philadelphia adding Nick Mullens. A couple of reasons why. One, Howie Roseman did say they want to be a quarterback factory, and even though all of us in Philadelphia hate that term because it's super dumb and annoying, this is a quarterback factory addition, so it makes sense from a Howie Roseman perspective. And two, this does make sense from a depth perspective. Listen, just because you have Joe Flacco as a backup doesn't mean you can't have another quality backup, namely Nick Mullens, as a number 3 option. Mullens is not going to be any sort of threat to Jalen Hurts. There is no threat from Flacco or Mullens at all going forward, but it's another good, proven backup, a good third stringer to roll with the third string guys and maybe even push Joe Flacco to go ahead and be the backup quarterback in Philadelphia. Again, is there any negative to them signing Nick Mullens? The simple answer is no. And again, I would have, understood the idea of getting an undrafted guy or just a young rookie to go ahead and build and he can sit on the practice squad. But if Mullens signed a contract, then he's obviously totally fine with being the number 3 quarterback on this depth chart. He's a good teammate, he's a good leader, and again, has a lot of starting caliber experience, more so than any other quarterback really over the past couple of seasons from a third-string quarterback standpoint in Philadelphia. You think back to whenever they had, obviously, Jalen Hurts as the number 2 quarterback, and then they had Nate Sudfeld as the number 3. Sudfeld didn't play a lot, but they said they liked a lot what they saw from him. Think about Sudfeld, or at least Mullens being the Sudfeld replacement, because Sudfeld, of course, went elsewhere here this offseason. So, they have signed Mullens. It's an interesting signing. I think it's a good signing. We'll get more details on the contract situation overall, but I think fans can be pretty excited about the fact that the Eagles' depth chart in terms of the quarterback position is officially, I think, signed, sealed, and delivered. These will be your 3 guys, and all of them will be there to support and provide help to the true starter, which is going to go ahead and be Jalen Hurts. All right. Grade the Nick Mullens signing. Give me your grades down below right now in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to go ahead and give this, I'd say a B+, maybe even an A-. Again, listen, if I was Nick Mullens, I wouldn't have signed here because it's like I want to be an actual backup quarterback with a chance to play. I think because Flacco is here, it gives him a much less of a chance to go ahead and be the true number 2 behind Jalen Hurts. But again, Mullens signed the contract, so we can't sit back and be like, why'd you do that, Nick Mullens? Nick Mullens did it. It's done. It's going to be beneficial for Philadelphia, and from a fan's perspective, that is good news for all of us here in Philly. So give me your grade on the Nick Mullens signing. Again, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to sit here. Yeah, I'm going to go and do an A-. I'll do an A-, but give me you guys your thoughts down below right now in the comments section. Wow, some breaking news here on a Monday. The Eagles, they've signed a quarterback, and it's going to go ahead and be Nick Mullens. Okay, before we go ahead and keep going here on today's video, quick shout out to our friends at Newsbreak. You guys got to download the Newsbreak app and be up to date on the latest local news, sports, politics, weather, whatever you want in your area. To download, go to chatsports.com/EaglesNB. And of course, just put that into your Google link. It'll download straight to your Apple device or your Android as well. Get the Newsbreak app and then follow really whatever you want, whether it's newspapers or whether it's local news channels or whether it's us. You just search and up the little search bar, Philadelphia Eagles Now, and you can follow all of our content as well as, again, any of the Philadelphia Inquirer content or NBC Sports in Philadelphia or wherever you live. You can follow the latest and greatest breaking news with the Newsbreak app. It's my go-to news app, and it should be yours as well. The link is down below, and you can also download again right now, chatsports.com/EaglesNB. Let's jump into some wide receiver discussions here today in terms of the fact that there's a battle raging inside Philadelphia for the number 3 wide receiver position. And this has been very much highlighted during OTAs, and there's some interesting, let's just say, champions who are trying to win the number 3 spot to go ahead and get a lot more starting reps than, say, the 4, the 5, or the 6. So the Eagles, again, open battle at number 3. That's been set. It's been known because we understand that the expectation is Devontae Smith is 1, and Jalen Reagor is going to go ahead and be 2. That's how it should be. Your last 2 first-round draft picks, both wide receivers, should be 1 and 2. So who becomes number 3? Now, you would think Greg Ward. However, everything we've heard right now is that it's between Fulgham and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Yes, believe it or not, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, according to multiple reports, has had a very great offseason. People are saying he looks really darn good, at least so far in OTAs. Now, it's OTAs, and so we can't just sit back and just automatically be like, oh yeah, Whiteside's going to be good this year because, that's to jump the gun a little too much. But the reports, especially from Eagles' new wide receiver coach Aaron Moorehead, seem to be pretty positive in terms of Whiteside. So here's your current depth chart. Again, things can be moved around. I would expect Greg Ward to go ahead and be the number 3, but the rumblings that we're hearing is that Fulgham is in the mix right now, that Whiteside is in the mix right now, and that they are keeping that number 3 spot completely open in terms of whoever has the best offseason, as it should, will be the number 3 wide receiver. Now, this doesn't mean that if Jalen Reagor stinks, they wouldn't bump Reagor out of number 2. I mean, listen, I think anybody on here can move around, and the Eagles have a very fluid wide receiver position. That number 3 spot is really being battled between 3 players right now in Fulgham, Greg Ward, and of course J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and it'll be interesting to see who goes ahead and comes out on top. Now, again, we mentioned Whiteside, and we talked about Whiteside a little bit this offseason, how he's being moved into the slot, which would benefit the number 3 wide receiver position overall. But the thing that I like seeing, and I've seen for about a week now, is that he's looked good so far in training camp. And so here was Eagles wide receiver coach Aaron Moorehead on Whiteside's progression so far. Quote, JJ would be the first one to tell you that last year was not good, but JJ is in a great place right now, playing good ball. He had a good 3 weeks here with us. I'm excited to see where JJ can put himself this year, end quote. It sounds pretty good to me. I mean, if you get J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to be anything more than 4 catches last year, 8 catches, whatever it was, that's a positive for the second-round draft pick in Philadelphia. Now, the main competition I think he's going to have, if it's not Greg Ward, it will be Travis Fulgham, and Fulgham has also had a pretty good last 3 weeks, and Moorehead was asked about that in his press conference a couple of days ago. Here's what he said on Travis Fulgham, quote, there are plenty of players in this league who have played 4 weeks and gone really well, and you don't hear from them for a while. Is that what's going to define you, or is it going to be or is it going to be a little blip? I think that if Travis can continue to grow physically, mentally, and all those things, he can get himself to be that guy. If he does, to be honest, our receiving corps can be really, really, really good, end quote. What more can you say? I'm really excited about this Eagles wide receiver corps, and I was not going into the season. They added Devontae Smith. They, of course, have Nick Sirianni to hopefully scheme things up properly. You had a healthy offensive line, Jalen Hurts, and I think they can all come together and give us the best Eagle wide receiver corps we've seen in a while. And I'm not going to sit back here and say that Philadelphia is going to have a top 5 receiving corps in the NFL or a top 10 receiving corps in the NFL, but it's not going to be bottom 10. And that's the important thing, because they've been bottom 5 in the league really the entire time Carson Wentz was there, minus 2017 when Alshon Jeffrey was healthy, and they were able to, mix in, I think, a lot more depth at the wide receiver position from an experience standpoint. Think about Smith as well on the outside. This is a young group, and it's a group that has to grow a lot. Talk about Fulgham and Ward and Smith and Reagor. I mean, all these guys are really, really young. But if Whiteside starts to play well, and if Fulgham plays as he did in those 4 games through the entire year, and Greg Ward keeps doing what he's doing, I mean, this can be a very, very good young wide receiver core. And honestly, again, I'm pretty pumped about it. And so I think as we go forward, we keep an eye on the number 3, because that's going to be very important to see who they put in that slot. I think Greg Ward has the kind of leading edge right now because he's been the most productive Eagle receiver the past couple of years. But I think Fulgham's size and his skill and what he showed in like the Cowboy game or in the Niner game last year are things that they're very excited about. And I think that deep, deep down, they are really hoping that J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is in a great place, as Moorehead said, and he can get back to a spot where he was at Stanford, where he can contribute in the red zone and actually be a legitimate threat going down the football field and making catches in traffic, as the Eagles, of course, drafted him to be there in the second round. So we'll see. I'll ask you guys this, though. Who wins the number 3 wide receiver job? Who do you think? Is it going to be Ward? Is it going to be Fulgham? Is it going to be Whiteside? Is it going to be Hightower? Somebody else? Let me know who you guys think is going to be the Eagles' number 3 wide receiver down below in the comment section right now. Okay, some more Eagle news here as we keep going on our Eagle news video on a Monday. The Eagles have signed a tight end. Yes, this happened over the weekend. Philadelphia has, re-signed. Re-signed, whatever. It's Richard Rodgers. Welcome back. Remember him? He's been a tight end in Philadelphia for a while now, but it's really the 4th time they sign him. They sign him, and then they cut him, and then they sign him, and then they cut him, and guess what? He is back on another 1-year deal. Now, the question is, what does this mean with the whole Zach Ertz situation? And we talked about Zach Ertz a lot. There is no update. I will just say that. There isn't like a, new rumor on where he's going to be traded to, or if he's not going to be traded. Talked about that last week. But Rodgers now is going to go ahead and be a solid backup option, regardless regardless if Ertz is going to be there. So let's just say Ertz is there, then Rodgers will be the number 3 tight end. But if Ertz is not there, as we are expecting him to no longer be, then he'll be the number 2 tight end behind Dallas Goedert, which, again, Ertz is better, and you'd rather have Ertz than Richard Rodgers. However, we got to be honest, Richard Rodgers, not too bad in 2020. Like, I was looking up his stats before the video, and I went, wow, Rodgers had more of an impact than I thought that he did. 14 games, he had 24 catches for 345 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, not bad overall, being a backup tight end, even with Zach Ertz being in the lineup for a portion of the season. Of course, not the full season due to the injury. So they have signed Richard Rodgers back. We predicted this weeks ago during my 53-man roster prediction. I said they had not officially signed him, but I think they will re-sign him, and guess what they have. So there you go. There's your update from the tight end position. No word on the impact this has with Zach Ertz. I don't think it'll have a big impact overall. Like, it won't push Ertz out the door, but it is interesting to note that Philadelphia has made a couple of signings today, including, of course, tight end Richard Rodgers over the weekend. What's your one-word reaction to the Eagles re-signing Richard Rodgers? I'd say mine is good. I think just good, solid, great backup player, good teammate, no issues here. Give me your thoughts on the one-word reaction to the Eagles signing Richard Rodgers down below. Ultimately, for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now on a Monday. Again, stuff's happening as it always is, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channels. We're trying to grow to 20,000 subs here on what is the best one-stop shop on YouTube for all of the latest Eagles news and rumors. Again, I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.